Now, back to PTR Radio.
Spectacular group of men. You go find them, you throw your arms around them, you give them a big kiss on the mouth.
This is PTR Radio.
And welcome, everybody, to another edition of PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. Nothing like a non-Monday show. Sorry for those of you regular listeners. We had to go on a day late this week, and we will be going on in 2 weeks on Tuesday as well. I got my COVID shot last night, and there was no way that I was going to make it back in time for the show. So decided that we would just put it off a day, and that way things would line up with other calendars as well. So it's Tuesday tonight, and then in 2 weeks it'll be another Tuesday. And then back to Mondays for your regularly scheduled program. So,
yep. I actually ran the weeks just to see, and discovered if we actually shifted weeks, we would have run into Memorial Day. So this is a much better solution.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. Nobody wants to work on Memorial Day. I mean, that's, you do other things on Memorial Day, like memorial stuff. Everybody's got big memorial plans with nobody.
Barbecue.
Yeah, you can do that. I've heard. You wouldn't be doing as much nowadays, but you could still barbecue.
Damn right.
You can barbecue.
It is my right as an American to barbecue, to grill meat.
Yeah.
Whether there are people here or not, I will do it, damn it.
You could barbecue too much meat, potentially as well,
No such thing.
No such thing as barbecuing too much meat.
Nope.
I don't know. You can have a meat hangover. There is such a thing.
That's true. And, one of my favorite Griffinisms is, about the meat sweats.
Yes. Yeah. I am meat rich right now, actually, because we've got our half a cow and we've got our half a pig. We just picked it up, a couple weeks ago. So we are freezer full. Although we have a situation currently, our kitchen refrigerator died on us.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I don't understand how normal people handle this. Because we're not normal people. So luckily we had two other refrigerators to fall back on. And a stand-up freezer. But if we hadn't had that, we'd have been sunk. How do people not deal with lots of appliances?
Yeah. I think a lot of people do have multiple appliances. It just depends how long they've owned a house.
Well, and the thing that gets me is that's the newest of all the fridges, right? So the fridge that we are using in the basement was the one that used to be in the kitchen before we bought the kitchen fridge. That's what makes me upset. Or to use the parlance of the children, that's what grinds my gears.
The parlance of Family Guy.
Yeah.
So what brand was the one that broke?
Samsung.
That's why.
Those are supposed to be good.
Yeah, they are.
Says who?
Well, we just got a brand new dishwasher from Samsung. It's doing really good.
For now.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what we did buy that we don't like is the KitchenAid oven. Don't buy a KitchenAid oven. That sucks. Twice as expensive and broke twice as quickly.
Electric or gas?
I guess it also depends who you buy
electric.
it from, too, here.
Okay, well, there's your other problem.
Well,
So ovens should be electric.
Bullshit.
Why? If you're big, because you can never seal a gas oven. A gas oven has to not be sealed because you still have to have air getting into it for it to be burned with the natural gas. But an electric oven, you can completely seal the oven, which is important when you're trying to bake.
Okay.
So gas cooktop, electric oven.
I think that is the common combination for the the Food Network crowd, unless it's pizza oven, and then it's different. But I think that's fairly common. So and the wife is actually
super kitchen.
The wife
in the
is
super
actually
kitchen.
talked
My
about
parents built induction. They have an induction cooktop.
Yeah. See, but my wife is actually talking about maybe the next time we have to get a new stovetop, doing a gas one, and that would give her one electric and one gas, because of course we have to have 2 cooktops in our kitchen. So I told her if we didn't need the cabinet space, we should have gone with 2 dishwashers.
Y'all are ridiculous.
And she goes, "You're right. We could use that."
No, y'all are absolutely ridiculous. If you got so many dishes that you need 2 dishwashers, you got a problem.
No, it would come in handy like Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter and birthdays. And
listen, if I'm having that many people over that I would need 2 dishwashers to clean up after, y'all are eating off of paper plates, all right? I'll even get the fancy ones
just look
that
at
have the
this
containers, that have the dividers to keep everything, the big tray-looking ones. I'll even get those for you.
You could
if
do
I'm having
it
that many people.
You could look at it this way, Mike. You could take out of the clean one, put into the dirty one, and then never actually have to put dishes away.
That's even more ridiculous. That's like when you don't have enough closet space and your clothing rotation solely depends on a full hamper, because you need that transition sort. You need that buffer.
No.
We're out your ever-loving mind.
So, I don't know. I think it's something that people could benefit from. Is multiple
I think
dishwashers.
You're crazy. I have once said that I want multiple dryers because it takes twice as long to dry clothes as it does to wash them.
What if you just?
But then I got one of these newfangled HE machines.
Mm-hmm.
And now they seem to talk to each other and time themselves accordingly.
Right. Well,
yeah.
They started making all-in-one units that are the washer and the dryer. So then you could just do twice as much laundry at one time.
No. Because those are condenser dryers, and so they will take 3 times as long.
Eventually, the technology will get to the point where we could do that. And then you could stack them, and you could do 4 loads of laundry at once, Mike. Just think of it. You could think of the day when laundry day really means you're wearing the last of your clothes. Like a Bermuda pair of shorts with like a diagonal striped shirt, mismatched socks, and that Valentine's Day underwear that you only wear for special occasions, but you have run that much out of clothes because you refuse to do laundry. Because that's a thing that happens. People wait until they reach that level.
Going on,
so
Cisco.
Mike,
Thanks for tuning in. Why?
That new washer, was it front loader?
I think so. Yeah.
Because that's what makes it different.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We have a GE pair, front loader washer, so it takes an hour to wash the clothes and about half an hour to dry them.
Yeah.
We actually need 2 washers for 1 dryer.
Okay, so and she clarifies, I have not been spying. I'm just a single man. Or was. I'm not now. No, that did not come out. This drink is strong. No, when I was single, I had.
You prefer not to be a single man again, obviously.
I absolutely am not. No, I get yelled at because I do my laundry every Thursday, whether I have a full hamper or not.
So you're like Sheldon. It's Laundry Thursday.
It's because I have to wash all of my hockey clothes before hockey on Friday.
Oh, I thought maybe you only had 7 pairs of underwear, and come Friday, if it's not done, you're free-balling it. So
listen. So Cisco's asking opinion on front loaders compared to top loaders. So here's my thing. I have never had a good experience with front-loading washers and dryers. Ever. The last time I used a front-loaded washing machine was at the laundromat. I threw my comforter in, and then I took a walk to go get a cup of coffee. When I came back, every towel that this poor Chinese lady had in the back was in front of the washing machine that my comforter was in. Why? Because apparently that seal went bad.
Well, yeah, that does happen, and
And-
it was on a commercial machine, and they get abused.
And
Yeah.
I absolutely, my biggest thing with the front loaders is it seems, while that seal does seem to go bad, everybody I spoke to has had some kind of issue with them.
Well, here,
Be it mold, be it something breaking, be it.
let me
So
tell
we-
you the issue that we recently had. Okay, now for those of you that are following us on Instagram and Facebook, you might have seen some of my DIY project stuff that we've done lately around the house. One of the things is we've re-floored the kitchen and the utility room, which is where the washer and dryer is. Well, turns out grout lines serve many purposes. All right, and one of those purposes is traction. All right, because what I didn't realize was when we put the new floor on, the washing machine was being held back by the grout lines. And once they were no longer there, the washing machine was free to roam the room while it was in its spin cycle. And it my wife likes to close the door because it's loud. And so the washing machine moved itself behind the door. So you couldn't open the door. Yes, I know. So you could not open the door because you had a full washing machine behind it. So waiting and all you kept hearing was as it was knocking the door nonstop during the spin cycle. The dogs were not having it. They were very upset. Finally, it finished, and I was able to He-Man muscle the door open enough to crawl between the door and the washing machine to move it back. The solution for that is obviously the little rubber things you put on shelves. That works, or rubber coaster type things. Whatever you can do to give the footies some grip. But yes,
So-
that was very exciting for the day.
Here is someone, his wife hates the front loaders. Notice he doesn't say him.
Yeah.
Okay. So that the implication could be there about who does the laundry in the house.
Yes.
I am not making that implication.
No.
Meanwhile, Mama Blair says she loves, and here's a valid reason. Short people tend to not like top-load machines
That's right.
because it's humiliating when they need to get a step stool to get that last sock out of the washer.
Yes, it is.
I get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
We actually hunted down a top load machine with large capacity that has an agitator because I refuse to have something without an agitator. Why? Because we have animals, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
I need that agitation to help get the pet hair dislodged from the fabrics.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Agitation
Yeah,
is sometimes a good thing.
Yeah, so here's what I'll say about top loaders, okay? So first off, a home top loader is so low on using water that even if the seal popped on the front, there's not that much water is going to be coming out anyway. So that's less of a problem. If the drain comes off on the back,
Yeah.
but that
was one thing. My wife was really worried. She's like, what if it pulls the hose out of the drain? It's just going to flood the whole room.
It goes out of the drain.
I'm like, I think it'll be okay. And luckily we were fine. It had enough cord where I'm like, I don't know if it's going to pull the plug. I really didn't know how far this thing was going to walk around the room. But, we got lucky on that one.
So LG and Samsung are both rated very well, but they also are very unlikely to have a repair person who can get any parts to fix them with.
Well, and now that we're in a global chip shortage of everything, it appears like, you can't find parts. You can't get parts to fix anything anymore. And it's only getting worse.
Yep.
Did you see that another chip manufacturer had a giant fire? And so they had to shut
No.
down? Yeah. a silicone chip manufacturer, had a fire in one of their, and they're the ones that just make the wafers, so they're one of the beginning parts of the process. They had a fire and they had to shut down, and so now we've got China under water restrictions. We've got fires in places, plus we've got crypto miners. What's next? I really don't know what's next.
Dust storm.
Locust.
That causes 1 in a million Freightliner to jam up the freaking carotid artery of the shipping lanes.
Oh, God, did you see some of the photos from that?
It's beyond insane. And the photos just don't, when you look at those pictures, it doesn't seem that big. But then once you realize that each one of those shipping containers is like 40 feet long.
No, it's more than 40 feet long. It's more like 2 football fields long.
No, those shipping containers are not that big.
Oh,
no,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You said containers, and I was thinking shipping like ships. So okay? I'm back to your scale now. Sorry.
Okay, and they're about, each shipping container is the length of a tractor trailer, right?
Yes.
So 40, I don't know, maybe 40 feet. I don't.
Yeah, they range from 20 to 40 feet, with around 8 feet in width.
Yeah. So that thing was huge.
Yeah.
Sideways.
Oh yeah.
Now, part of me is thinking, now they've been talking about expanding or widening that canal because, obviously the ships are getting bigger and bigger. My theory is a ship cannot go through the canal if it is longer than the canal is wide.
Yeah, you would think that there should be a requirement that you should have to be able to do a 180. You should have to be able to do a U-turn to go through the canal. Right?
No.
No. Yes,
because
I think you should.
Because the only thing that would be able to get through the canal would be someone in a canoe.
Well, I'm saying that we should make it bigger.
No. What I'm saying, yes, they should make it bigger. What I'm saying is it should be, if the ship is, if the canal is 100 yards wide, or no, since it's 100 meters wide, then no ship should be able to go through it that is longer than 98 meters.
Yeah.
This way, if it did somehow shift and turn, it wouldn't get jackknifed in there.
Yeah.
That's my logical thinking, which probably doesn't make.
The problem is the captain was trying to drift, and it didn't work.
Did you see what the captain did before that, though?
Did he post a meme? I'm not sure.
No. Okay, so the captain's probably not going to get in trouble for actually getting the ship stuck because he is basically a big storm as wind pushed him over. But he might get in trouble because people looked at the track of the ship before he got to the canal. And apparently, while the ship was waiting for its time to get there, it decided to trace a giant cock and balls in the ocean.
It's like those pilots did with their jet wash that one time.
Just like the pilots, yes.
Well, hey, you're bored. You're out to sea for a long time. It's going to happen.
Listen, I had to explain, like, Kim and I were talking about it. She's like, yeah, apparently some are taking the long way around. And I said, yeah, and then they got to deal with pirates. And she's like, pirates?
Yes.
I said, yes, not like arg, mateys.
Not like,
look at me.
Not like, where's the rum?
Look at me. I am the captain now. Those kind of pirates.
Yeah. And it's a lot longer trip, a lot more expensive trip. Yeah.
It was more than just a stuck ship that contributed to gas prices, and I'm not even talking political because that's everybody likes to blame the president when gas prices go up or down. Yet, yes, but the price war between OPEC and Russia ended.
Well, and not only that, but the demand has gone back up, but the producers reduced their production.
Yes.
And it takes a while to catch back up to demand.
Yes. The all-time low of negative $37 on a barrel of sweet crude is never going to be hit again in our lifetime.
Well, unless we have another pandemic.
Or we finally become energy independent and the wind turbines and solar panels and solar winds will carry us to Mars.
Yes.
And yes, there was a lot of mud involved and dust, and it all came down to one guy with a bulldozer.
Yep.
To save the world. And Mike Rowe is just sitting back saying,
"Hey, trade jobs,
school, bitches."
Yep. No college graduate did this crap. Look at us now.
Certified. That's all you need to be. Certified, not PhD.
Apprenticeship program, bitches. That's what. Yeah.
Okay. One last thing on because
Yeah.
I was catching up on the comments there on washer and dryer. Okay.
Yes.
GE.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to look at the front of the washer. If the front of the washer, if you look around the outside, it has these little vents around it.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the brand new GE washers. They're amazing. After you use them, it actually runs itself in a dry cycle where it actually blows air through the gasket to make sure you don't get any mold issues. Okay, that's what we have. It's wonderful. If it's a GE washer that doesn't have those little vents on it, those are the worst rated washers around. They actually were made by a different company. Like the GE appliance company just got bought, and so the older appliances that don't have the vents, no, run away. But if they have the vents, it's great. That's my final word on appliances for that.
You see, that's why I go top loader. When I'm done, I just leave the thing up.
Now, you know something we haven't done this in a while. We haven't taken talking about this. So, you know, Mike likes top load.
A phone call in a while.
Well, yeah, but that's because I haven't had time to fix it. But anyway, we haven't taken a test, an online personality test in a while.
I don't like tests.
Well, I'm sorry, but we need a test every once in a while to tell you, you know, what your alignment is, Mike. And we're not talking about your car here. We want to know whether you're chaotic or not. And so I linked to a test, whether you're a lawful good, a neutral good, a chaotic good.
Was I supposed to take this before the show?
No, we can take it during the show. I think it might be kind of fun to take it during the show.
Okay.
But
all right, so let me. There's something in my chicken head. Let me hold on.
So
let me paste this to the Facebook feed.
Yeah.
So if folks want to.
So what this started out as is a what Dungeons and Dragons character am I? Which I found this amusing because of my daughter. It was kind of funny. I went through a tub of my stuff from my parents' house, and I found a Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Master book from like the early 80s that my mom had gotten from a garage sale for me. I handed it to her and her boyfriend, and they thought that I had handed them gold because they're all into Dungeons and Dragons now. My daughter actually bought a sword. So, you know.
Crap, this is one of those chaotic. Okay. Yeah. I was joking when I said chaotic neutral. I have no idea. All right.
No,
okay.
So first question, family elders are expressing disapproval of you to the rest of the family. Do you, 1, accept the criticism and change your ways? 2, seek a compromise with them? 3, besmirch the reputation of those expressing disapproval as you ignore their scorn? Or 4, silence them any way you can? I'm going to say I probably... Boy, if there was another option that says don't pay any attention to them and cut yourself off in every way from family, that would be my option.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I'm doing the besmirch because I like that word.
Yeah, I do. I point out the failures in my sister all the time and say, hey, listen, I'm not that bad.
And I knew you two were going to do that because I'm just going to do the accept the criticism just because I want to see something different.
Okay.
Would you give up a promising career to aid the family in time of need? 1, in a heartbeat. 2, yes, with some reluctance. 3, only if I was certain I'd be able to return to my career soon. Or 4, no. Probably yes with some reluctance.
Yeah. I can't figure out what the scenario that could possibly be, but...
Yeah.
Nope.
Mike says, no, you're on your own.
No, I'm going to continue with my career, and I will help you financially. Leave me the hell alone.
Would you betray a family member to advance your own career? Yes, without a twinge of guilt. Yes, if I could do it secretly. I'd resist the temptation, or I find the very idea abhorrent.
Well, see, I don't like these because there's a lot of gray areas here. Like, it doesn't say which family member. You know, if you're talking,
abhorrent.
I would do it if I could do it secretly.
Like, if you're talking about, my wife, obviously the answer is going to be I find the very idea abhorrent. But if you're talking about my mother, maybe if I could do it secretly. Yeah. If you're talking about my half brother, I would without a twinge of guilt. So I don't know here at all.
It depends on the career. If my career was FBI agent and I just found out that someone was a murderer, then
yeah, okay.
All right.
Truss them up like a deer.
Do you respect the leaders of your family? Their words guide my actions. Their role models for me. They're often out of touch with my life, or they're out of touch with reality. Right now, I'm going with the last one.
Where's option 5?
I know we're just gonna go through a few of them. We won't go through all 3. We'll go through like 10.
I'm just saying, what if you are the leader of the family? What's that one missing? It's not that I'd pick, but still.
If your here you go, Colin. If your family had arranged your marriage to someone loathsome, would you A, go through with it, proud to serve your family? B, agree, hiding your reluctance? C, subtly work against the union? Or D, flee?
Yeah, so flee is the answer.
Does she have big boobies?
I would. Well, if she's loathsome, then the answer is
birthing hips.
The answer's got to be no if she's loathsome.
Well, personality-wise, she could have the personality of a freaking dish towel. Anyway.
I'm going to say subtly work against the union.
I'm a Colin on this one. I'm fleeing. Estranged from. Well. Speaking of, estranged from a family member. On his deathbed, he seeks reconciliation. Do you speak to him but hold your ground? Refuse to speak with him. Discuss your estrangement openly and without rancor. Actively seek reconciliation and heed his dying words.
There's not an
Does
option
he have money?
There's just not an option to just humor him because he's not got much time left.
Is it too late to get into the will?
Well, I'm going to go with discuss because that's what I'm taking as the option you just said, Shay.
Okay.
We'll discuss it openly. I'm not going to be mad. Oh, he's dead. Great.
I'm going to speak to him, but hold my ground. That's, I'll listen to him, and he doesn't have to know that I'm not going to pay attention. He's halfway out of it anyway. Okay, Colin, here we go. A powerful but corrupt judge offers you wealth if you'll testify against your friends. Do you condemn your friend and take the money? Take the money and testify, but try to keep your testimony ineffective. Refuse the offer and refuse to testify, or testify on your friend's behalf no matter the consequences.
I'm a genius. So.
Reminds me of the movie Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah, I'll go testify. Yes, it does remind me of Nothing But Trouble. Okay, assuming that it's a corrupt judge, not necessarily a murderous judge.
Like Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, if we're in Sweeney Todd, then
I'm going to take the money, but try to keep my testimony ineffective. Be the worst person on the stand ever.
Yep, I'm there. Okay.
All right, Mike, you want to read the next one?
Do you become close to friends or hold most people at a safe distance? I have an abundance of close friends. Liar. I have some close friends, possibly. I have few close friends, most likely. I try to keep people at a distance. COVID.
Yes, if COVID was answering this question, it would pick D. I am going to pick C.
Yes. Have you ever betrayed a friend? I've done so more than once, and sometimes I get away with it, bitch.
Yeah,
I've done so once.
I kind of need the option in here of possibly, but didn't mean to. That's more likely.
I've been tempted to, but never gone through with it.
Yeah.
Sure. I'd never contemplate such a thing, liar.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the C. I've been tempted to, but never gone through with it. Because you got to be tempted at least for a second. And then the last one we'll do on the air is, how do you view life?
The one that none of us will really?
Well, Colin,
we got the same.
Colin, it'll be different here. How do you view lifelong commitment to a single romantic partner? A, I have or want such a romance. B, such a romance would be ideal if it's achievable. C, I worry I'd miss out on what others have to offer. Or D, tie yourself to one person? That's a huge mistake.
I don't like any of these.
I'm going with a strong A.
Of course.
Colin, what would your fill in the blank be?
Okay. I think it would be a mistake for me to tie myself to. I think it would be a mistake for me to marry anybody. But that is not the meaning of this particular response. This response is, I'm Dan Fielding. So for purposes of keeping this to what I think the particular quiz is saying, I'm actually going to go with the if it's achievable.
Okay. Oh, see? We have fun. All right, so like I said, Mike posted that on our board so that you can take that and finish it out.
I'm trying to go through as quick as I can here.
But yeah, I mean it's there's quite a few questions here that you can go through. That you can do that you can run through. Your community is threatened with an invasion. What do you do? That's always a fun one. Do you respect laws and authorities of the community? Oh, okay. Do members of your hometown shun, avoid, or mock you? Would you stand for office or seek to represent the interests of the community? I think we've already decided this show pretty much negates us from ever being able to do that. Oh,
right.
Nice one. Your country is racked with famine. That's always a fun one because that almost happened with COVID.
Some of these are just getting stupid as you get further on. Like,
yes.
Do you rely on the government to enforce contracts and property rights? One of the answers. Are you kidding me? The government can't even pave roads.
If offered enough money, would you slip a poison into your king's drink? I like no, and I'd warn the king of the plot. That seems like a great one.
If imprisoned, would you injure or kill others to escape? Well, duh.
You have accidentally committed a crime. Accidentally. Do you turn yourself in? Do you turn yourself in and attempt to make? It's none of these answers say anything about I've gotten caught. So,
yeah. While traveling, you witness an assault. You are ordered to testify, which will delay your travel significantly. What is the best use of wealth? When confronted by beggars. That is an ignore. By using magic.
By beggars, do you mean like the Little League team with the cans at the stoplight when you're praying to God, oh, please, God, let it be green? I'm driving at 5 miles an hour for a mile just trying to time this light with the traffic. I'm doing advanced calculus in my head trying not to get stopped where I have the guy just sitting there by my window. Just.
Oh, no. I'm I was more thinking the guys with the cardboard signs.
Listen, I don't. Well, we don't have any of those around here. Now, if the guy's got the poppies, then I got a problem, and I got to give. I'll give him my Aldi quarter if I got no other change. I mean,
Okay, so I came out to being a true neutral. Who does what seems to be a good idea, but doesn't normally feel strongly one way or another when it comes to good versus evil or law versus chaos. Which is about right. I could take it, I could leave it, you know.
What are you?
A true neutral?
Son of a bitch, so am I.
I figured, knowing us, I figured most of us would probably end up in that category.
So my alignment otherwise, my next two are chaotic neutral and neutral evil. Are tied after true neutral. Because if you scroll down to
Makes
your
sense.
detailed results.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably mine too. So, but I thought we haven't taken a survey in a little while. Colin seems peer pressured answering these questions. Yeah.
I'm going to answer him.
And then probably. Well, now. So, true neutral. So that means what the summary is. I don't give a damn what y'all think. I'm doing what I'm going to do, and that is my guiding star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wonder how difficult it is to get that thing to say anything but true neutral.
Oh, so you ended up that way as well?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I went to the point of actually answering the questions,
So
I still got the same result.
So when at your detailed results, let's just run down. Like my alignment, lawful good was 8, neutral good 16, chaotic good 11, lawful neutral 14, then true neutral 22. I'm trying to figure out where these numbers actually come from. Chaotic neutral 17, lawful evil. So I am nowhere near lawful, basically, because lawful evil was 9, lawful good was 8.
Yeah, mine was, yeah.
Yeah, I was lawful good 23, neutral good 25, chaotic good 18, lawful neutral 25, true neutral 27, chaotic neutral 20, lawful evil 10, neutral evil 12, chaotic evil 5. For law and chaos, it was law 9, neutral 11, chaos 4, good and evil, 14 good, 16 neutral, 1 evil.
Did I skip questions or something? Because your numbers all are higher than mine.
Well, that's okay, because, yeah, I was, like, going down 8, 16, 14, 10, 18, 16, 10, 18, 16, and then in Law and Chaos, 3, 11, 9, and then Good and Evil, 5, 7, and 7. So, you know, all over the board. But, yeah, like I said, it was just fun, you know, try and do a survey. We haven't done one of those in a while. I don't remember which one was the last one we did. It's been so long.
No idea.
No. You know, going through coronavirus, I realize it's now been over a year since I've been working from home, and we've talked about, you know, different companies making the decision on whether they're going to keep working from home or not. And Yahoo Finance actually came out with a few reasons why companies might not continue to let you work from home after coronavirus is over. And I don't know that I agree with their reasons. Now, they only came up with 4. You know, so we'll see. I'm very curious, especially Mike, your point of view on this.
Okay.
So the first one they point out is your employer has an existing lease. Commercial lease agreements are typically long-term in the range of 3 to 10 years, and they can be expensive to get out of. For companies in the middle of a lease agreement it can't get out of without paying an exorbitant fee, it makes sense that it would want to make sure that the office space it's paying for isn't going to waste. I don't know that that's really a thing. I mean,
No.
No,
at least
an
not around
existing
here.
lease, no. If they actually own property, you know, like for example, Google owns, by way of One City Block LLC, a building in New York called 111 8th Avenue. And the building literally is an entire city block.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me if they own that real estate that they are going to have employees in that real estate.
Right.
Right? Leases, a little different.
Yeah, leases are different because even, let's say that you have a fee to get out of a lease. It's not the same amount as what your lease was, usually. It's usually a percentage of what the total lease cost was. And or there's other offsetting costs that you will end up recouping. You know?
So there's a couple of ways to look at this. Now I could understand that they would drive it. Let's say a company had 2 campuses or 2 buildings, and they decided, well, we only need X amount of people in. We can get away with one of these spaces. So everybody who used to go to A, you now have to go to B, and we're going to cancel our lease on A. That kind of thing I could understand, but it also depends on the type of work.
Yeah.
See, and I don't know if they're going to talk about this later on, but there's a lot of discussion. The onus is on the employers to prove what value bringing employees back has, because so many people have proven their productivity has stayed the same or gone up during lockdown, where people were forced to work from home.
Yeah, that was the big concern was, well, we can't let you work from home because you won't work as hard. Well, that hasn't proven to be the point, the case. So now you really have to make a case of, well, there's a bad aspect to this. And that's why I say some of these points are dumb. So here's another point that Yahoo Finance says. Your company wants to bring back the social aspects of work. And particularly here, the photo that they show along with this article is a pizza party. All right? Who is desperately craving to have shared food with their coworkers?
Okay. So let's just talk. Let's just say a couple of things here. First of all, that is the cheesiest or worst looking takeout pizza I have ever seen in my entire life. That looks like somebody put Jack's in a cardboard box.
And literally, that is like 1 piece per person. That is the cheapest company ever.
So, number 2, social aspects. Listen, we'll all go to happy hour afterwards.
Yeah.
Number 3, I was on a call with my team today. There are 3 of us in New Jersey. The rest are scattered across the country. What the hell difference does it make if we're going to be in the damn office?
Yeah.
So
I have a meeting with my staff 3 days a week on conference call where we talk about whatever is going on. That, and we turn on our cameras. That's social enough for us. We don't need any more. Yeah. We don't need you to bring in donuts when it's your birthday. We don't need to have a monthly potluck where you bring in stuff I don't like and I forget to bring in something, so then I have to go out at lunch and get something and bring it in so I don't feel like a jerk. We don't need those things.
We don't need that one guy who keeps coming to your desk, droning on and on and on and on about the differences between what this bread's ingredient list was last time he got the bread and what it is now this time, and how that's a huge conspiracy.
So last week, we had a Zoom call with a vendor, and we had kind of like a pregame call internally, and we were told these guys are all going to put their cameras on, so we are going to put our cameras on. I said, oh.
Yep.
Looked around and said, oh, boy.
Well, I mean, you see the flag behind me.
So, okay, but, okay. Let me just be clear. That's 10 feet away.
Yeah.
Okay? So, from right at the corner of that whiteboard over there, I have something screwed to the wall, like a little hoop or a hasp, and I have a bracket over here. I hung my damn green screen up. And I went online 10 minutes before the meeting, and I found a backdrop that was like a brick wall, but the cement or the between the bricks, actually they overlaid like a world map on top of the bricks that looked like it was cement. And people were like, wow, you got a nice office. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, see, just about every other person, every other person except for me uses those silly background, overlays. I am the only person on a conference call, I think me and one other guy, that actually shows you what is really behind us. Bill, one of the guys, he's not in my group, but another group, the other day, he had a background behind him, and let's see here. If I can find it, and you tell me how quickly you can realize what it is, and we'll see how good you are, because I knew what it was in literally a second, and everybody else said, oh, are you in your living room? And I'm like, come on, you can't be that stupid. Really? You absolutely can't be that stupid. And that's a crappy image of it, so let's see if we can get a better one. There we go. That's much better. So this is what he was in front of. That's what he was in front of. And they're like, oh, we get to see your room. I'm like, that's the set for Married with Children. I'm like, that's a freaking 30-year-old sitcom set. You should know this.
It could be worse, dude. So here, okay, this is going to be interesting. Never done this one before. Let's see. Which one is screen one? I think that's screen one. Okay, well, let's see if this works. Okay. So this is the one that I put up. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
After I was told in no uncertain terms, well, this was one that I had.
Uh-huh.
Okay, between two firms.
Mm-hmm.
I was told in no certain terms, this one is not acceptable.
Yep.
So I had between two ferns here. I had the black one, which didn't, that wasn't too. I had this one, which is Drake and Josh.
Okay.
And that one, which I was told is not exactly acceptable either.
The other one that he had, and I'm trying to see if I can find it, was he had an animated one, which was him sailing. So you actually saw him seated on a boat with the mast behind him and the waves moving. And it's a good thing nobody had motion sickness, because it actually did have the ocean moving behind him. And so, I mean,
Mama Blair writes in, and she does have a good point. There are a lot of cool people I never would have known if I hadn't worked with them in person. I'm discounting the ones I wish I never met. Yeah, you take the good, you take the bad, take them both, and there you have working in a cubicle.
Yeah.
Right? So my best man, I knew him from work. I met him at work, right? I have plenty of friends from work.
Yes.
But it's kind of a different time now, and I agree. Back then, when your entire team was in an office, and when you had a problem, you could get up and you could walk to somebody else's desk and try and get help with that problem. That was an ideal time to be in an office. The thing now is we're so electronically connected that so the next one on this list, number 3, I do kind of agree with. Working from home isn't the ideal situation for some employees.
You're right.
I agree with this.
I've told people that I work with, I'm like, listen, if you have kids going to school to remote learning, and your wife's also working from home, and you're hunkered down at the couch or at the dining room table, I suggest you move and get a house with a dedicated office for yourself. That's my suggestion because it works really well for me. I am isolated in the basement. I have my dedicated space, and they are off someplace else, completely separated by several doors. I'm like, that is the ideal situation. If not, leave them. Just divorce. It's much simpler. I'm like, work from home by yourself is the best way to go. And since this is going to be the new normal, maybe it's just better for your sanity.
Yeah. Or just put the camera down lower and have it pointed up at the corner of the ceiling, and you're good.
I have people who go, "Oh, my dog's barking." I'm like, I have 4 dogs. I don't care if your dog's barking in the background. I really don't care if your dog's barking in the background. You know what the mute button is? Use the damn mute button.
Yes.
So yeah, that one. Number 4.
Oh.
That I love companies who think this one applies to them, but it really doesn't. Your company relies heavily on collaboration. Now, you may think you're the next Google, where you need ping pong tables and fancy food courts and everything else to inspire collaboration. You don't. You just need people who know how to freaking get the job done. All right, and stop talking so damn much. All right.
Listen, if you're going to try and be like Google and have these wide open concept offices where everybody can see each other and there's no assigned desk and you float around and what have you, damn well better be given the free food and coffee and drinks and all of that stuff too. Don't make people pay for that.
Don't half-ass it. Do it all or don't do it at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We want free snacks if we're going to put up with listening to so-and-so's phone call.
That word collaboration, that's like a trigger word for me, man.
And synergy. I still hate that word.
Synergy only ever had one good use.
On a Dilbert cartoon.
That was in the
Gem and the
cartoon.
holograms.
Yes, exactly.
No, I'm sorry. Not everything requires collaboration. It requires coordination, but I don't have to be next to you for that to happen. I will tell you what I want you to do, and I will tell you what I'm going to do. You go do it. And besides, we have tons of toys to collaborate with. We've got Teams. We've got Slack. We've got Outlook. We've got, name your poison. We've got more ways to communicate than you can shake a stick at. We don't have to be right next to each other.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
WebEx versus Teams. Which do you prefer? Go.
Teams.
Well,
you don't count. You're a Microsoft whore.
The problem is, within our environment, Teams is a bit neutered. Okay? We can't schedule Teams meetings. We can only do ad hoc.
Really?
And that's because we've decided WebEx is our standard. Because we got big into WebEx. But I tell you, there are a lot of issues with WebEx. Although we're trying to make it better, there's still issues with it, and it's not universally used. If you ask a lot of people, they'll say, what's your preference, Teams or WebEx, they'll say Zoom. Especially like the disabled community, they'll say Zoom all day long, neither of the other two. I was in a conference call with the blind folks the other day, and they said they actually dropped out of WebEx to attend it on Zoom because it was more usable on Zoom than it was on WebEx. And we've pushed WebEx to make changes. And Teams is not that much better. In fact, Teams is probably worse because they don't have anything regarding captioning on there, I don't think.
That sounds surprising to me, but I haven't tried.
Well, because I don't think Teams is meant for mass distribution. It's meant for internal collaboration. It's not meant for, anonymous sign-in. Whereas WebEx and Zoom and that is.
I think Teams does have captioning, but it's one of the things that's been neutered off, so we can't turn it on.
Yeah, so
I think I actually looked that up once. The reason I say Teams is we actually use it for collaboration between our actual internal So my project people, we have a chat that we've created on Teams, which is great because it means that I can go back, months and months and months to go back and figure out what we said back then that made us make a decision. So it's not just and we also we use Teams to maybe just call each other.
Yeah.
Since we don't really know each other's phone numbers, we just call each other on Teams.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm just a one-on-one with somebody, usually I'll throw Teams on. But it is a little bit more clunky in Teams sometimes than it is with WebEx to do certain things. So it just depends. It depends on what we're doing. Like my staff meetings I run on WebEx. Most of my meetings with Adobe and other vendors I do on WebEx. A lot of times just because it's easier, because I can schedule those. But yeah, it's, if we hadn't already been in bed with Cisco with our phones and everything else, the story would probably be different.
Yep. Apparently, to turn on live captions is what they call it in Teams. You click on the ... at the bottom.
Yeah, but I don't think it's probably available in the government section, in the FedRAMP section.
Exactly. Which is
another problem in itself.
Yes.
Is that Teams for government is so far behind Teams for commercial. And that is not just Teams. It's the entire Office 365 catalog. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I actually submitted several things in their changelog, and I'm waiting for them to fix it.
For no good reason.
Yeah, speaking of things that are different, let's talk. Mike, you have this story about a Texas restaurant that we probably need to talk to. Now, Texas, my opinion was Texas really wasn't for all the mask mandates and everything else. So this article really kind of took me by surprise. So, I didn't think Texas was. I thought they were they're not live free or die, but I thought that they were of that same mindset.
Okay, so my understanding, and I'd have to go. I got to go back and look at the actual article, but you still have local restrictions that supersede state restrictions. So, in general, the governor of Texas may say there's no statewide mask mandate, but localities could have their own, based off of their own research or their own whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, what the governor said was, we don't need a state mandate because individual businesses can make the decision themselves. So this is just the business doing what the governor said they could do.
Right, which is the same way that the federal government said the states can do what they want to do, and then some states said, well, the counties can do what they want to do, and which is when you get all these different rules so that the people don't know what they're supposed to do because it's a free-for-all everywhere. Nonetheless, let's get past that.
Yeah. So this diner decided that they were still going to – they put up a sign in the window that said, our new surcharge, $50 if I have to explain why masks are mandatory. $75 if I have to hear why you disagree. So
yeah, which is great. I love that. I love that because so many people want to bitch. So many people want to complain. Now,
to answer the overall question you're asking, though, Texas is actually what's happening in Texas is there's a lot of companies from California that are moving from California to Texas. And a lot of their employees are moving as well. So, especially in places like Austin.
Yeah, it's becoming less blue or less
it's darn close to Seattle.
Yeah. So it's slowly turning. The mindset is turning. A little bit more progressive. I understand. So but it's interesting. Saying that
I've never heard of web at work. I never heard of that. Or
me
web.
neither.
I don't know. I don't know. Are you saying it's web at work, or are you saying web at your job?
And they say all we ask is that customers wear a mask as they walk past other people that are eating and not wearing a mask, which is true. I mean, you can't eat and wear a mask, right? Sure, it doesn't seem like a lot to ask, but apparently it is. Says Lacombe's opened the restaurant in October 2019 and had to close for 2.5 months because of the pandemic. We have a race that we have not finished, and when the numbers go up, our business goes down. So yes, it's very urgent that we keep the numbers down, they say. Which is true. You want places to stay open. You do what's best for the community, and it's difficult to get people to understand that. That's what's been infuriating to me the whole time is people want to complain about what they should, what they're being told to do, and what's happening to small businesses, but then they don't want to do the simple things. In my mind, what is simple? In order to enable businesses to stay open, and that's the small thing that really confuses me.
Yeah, I mean the bar that we go to after hockey it's table service only. You cannot sit at the bar. Now what they did, and I think I've kind of talked about this before, but if this is the bar, okay, they take the table and put it this way. So you're not seated facing the bar, but the bartender can still kind of serve people.
Yeah.
The rule is very simple. Butt in a chair, your mask is off. Butt in the air, mask is on. Doesn't matter. So you can't stand at your table and drink. You can't stand and socialize. If you're going to the bathroom, you have to put your mask on. Coming in and going out of the bar, mask on. It's simple. Why are they doing that? Because it's not complicated and it lets them stay open at maximum capacity.
Yeah.
Does do the owners like the restrictions? No, but it's better than the alternative.
Yeah.
That being said, I think with warmer weather, I think at least here in New Jersey, they're starting to realize people are going to start revolting. And if they don't do something to figure out how to increase capacity and allow businesses to seat more people outdoors, I've seen a lot of the places that did outdoor seating last year when they opened it up, they're starting to put up more outdoor like canopies so that they can use the outdoor seating in inclement weather and they can rely on having that extra capacity. So hopefully the governor doesn't do something stupid and roll those back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, yeah. I mean, and then you look at the cases like Florida, right? Where they just got inundated by all the, 20-somethings and, late teenagers who just bombarded the entire state,
Wow.
For spring break, and are now threatening a fourth wave across the entire country because of their need.
They're talking about a fourth wave in Jersey, and I'm like, we haven't gotten out of the second wave yet.
Yeah.
Our waves are more like ripples in a pond at this point. And here's the problem. Like, because I saw an article today that I guess on Twitter that Governor DeSantis is now being questioned about the reporting of deaths. And that he was understating them in order to make numbers seem better. The issue here is very similar to what I saw as far as like vaccine distribution and what have you. There's no national standard saying this is what qualifies as a COVID death. This is what qualifies as a COVID case. This is how you report new cases, daily new cases. This is how you calculate your rate of transmission. Even with the testing, there's no standard to, I believe it's, not RT, CT, cycle time, which is kind of like the sensitivity of the PCR test.
Yeah.
Some states were testing at such a level that if you had minimal antibodies and were not even contagious, you would still register as positive. Whereas some states turned it up a little bit and realizing, yeah, if you're under a certain amount, if we test under a certain amount of the antibodies in your system or the virus in your system, you're not contagious. You've got it, but you don't have enough to spread.
Yeah.
There's been no standard, and this is part of the problem. Governor Murphy finally got called out on it today at the press conference about what constitutes a new case. When you say there were 3,000 new cases yesterday, does that mean 3,000 people were tested positive yesterday?
Yeah.
And we know the answer. The answer to that is no. The 3,000 cases, some of those cases, based off of publicly available data from the CDC, 30% of those cases were tested more than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, even we had some situations, although I don't think it was probably to that extent, where delayed test results were delayed, being counted into that day's counts, and so then they rolled to the next day, which showed an inflated count. Now I will say a lot of times they did come out publicly and say when that occurred, but they just said it on the press conference. I don't know that it was denoted in the press release or in the statistic numbers all the time. I wasn't paying that close of attention to them, but I know that does happen. I mean, and to some degree, that is going to happen with any data, right? Some data is always going to end up being late somewhere along the lines, even though we wish it didn't. There's going to be some delay occasionally. Something's going to get tripped up, and it's going to not count on the day it should have, just because we're taking data from too many disparate sources and trying to cram it together by a certain timeline. There's always somebody's going to miss the boat, but it's how we explain that and how we deal with the messaging of that. And to your point, it's for New Jersey, it was done in a dishonest manner, where it resulted in what looked like a big influx, a big uptick in, cases, where that really wasn't if you were to take that number and put it where it rightly belonged.
Right. So my point is, put it where it belongs. That's fine. That's going to change the epi curve,
right,
retroactively, right? So we'll be able to see where the peak really was and what worked, what didn't. The problem is by reporting them as new, you're keeping the numbers up, and those numbers are the ones that you're deciding how to keep things open and closed.
Exactly.
So by artificially inflating them, you are now. This is the best part. His chief of staff was on Twitter arguing with reporters, stating that this is all BS conspiracy theory. The data, the raw numbers are available for anybody that wants to go out there and do the calculations and see them. And there have been people on Twitter that have been doing just that, reporting on this for over a year now. So,
yeah, it's all
the fact that the governor goes back and says, I'm not exactly sure how they're calculating, and then turns to his staff. So somebody's going to take the fall for this.
Yeah, see, our Department of Public Health director actually is the one who presents those numbers. So, the buck stops with her when it comes to the number presentations for Illinois. But anyway, moving away from that subject onto another one. So de Blasio is in the news for something different in New York, talking about the decriminalization of sex workers, Mike.
Oh, yeah, I did put this one up there.
So we have had the decriminalization of marijuana, and now we're going to have the decriminalization of sex workers, possibly.
So immediately, when I saw this article, I was taken back to George Carlin. And his whole routine about prostitution.
Mm-hmm.
About how selling is legal.
Sex is legal.
Sex is legal.
So
why isn't selling sex legal?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong. But it potentially has the same pitfalls if you look beyond just some of the other things that decriminalization of other things has gotten against it. So, for example, the decriminalization of marijuana has caused a different problem with that industry, i.e., taking depositing of the funds of sales, for example.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
One of the biggest problems with any pot shop is that they have no bank accounts a lot of times because no banks will take their money because it's still a federal crime. So if he decriminalizes sex workers, will they run into a similar issue where they have nowhere to put their money? And as we know, that causes an issue because I'm sure solicitation will still be at least a state crime, even if it's decriminalized for the city. And this issue of the ability to process payments is not just related to these two things. Recently, some people out there may be familiar. I've heard of this site called Porn Center, Porn Spoke.
Hub.
Oh, Pornhub. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. So they recently had a challenge that their credit card processors were going to walk away from them and leave them unable to process payments because of a report of a potential for either sex trafficking or child porn on the site. So
there has also been cases where PayPal has decided they decided a while ago that they would no longer process payments for any kind of vaping paraphernalia or any tobacco products.
Right. And to go on further, I worked on a gun range website, and I could not hook up PayPal to process payments because PayPal said, we will not process anything relating to weapons. So knives, gun accessories, even gun memberships, they would not process those payments. So a question that I have is, why are these industries stigmatized this way and punished for just their choice of business? We don't see this level of I'll use the word discrimination used against any other business.
So I have a couple.
Go ahead.
A couple of theories. The first one. Well, I shouldn't even say theory. Part of my concern here is when did the credit cards become our nanny?
Yes.
It's one thing when the government tells us we can and can't do something, or something is legal or not legal. But for the credit card companies, and this was pretty much a stand. Pretty much all the credit card companies came across and said, we are no longer going to do this. So when did they become, and you brought up a good point, is this because of a liability concern? Like, are they afraid they're going to be sued for something? But at the same time, then I wonder, does this open up a potential business opportunity if someone chose to take it on? Like, what if Visa, MasterCard, Discover, PayPal, they all said, nope, we're not touching this. And American Express came in and said, we got you.
Yeah, we're America's card. Weed, vape, porn, you name it, we'll debit it. What if they did come in and say that? Because I was thinking about the liability aspect, because that's one of the reasons that Discover, Visa, and MasterCard said that they were thinking of pulling out of Pornhub, is because of the potential ramifications of it. And I'm like, okay, let me ask you this question. How many people are killed by drunk drivers every year? Okay? Because there's a lot. But I have never seen them once pull out from processing payments at bars or liquor stores. You know? So if they're really concerned about possible transactional liability, then shouldn't they be worried about that?
Look at you using big words. Proud of you.
So
I will say, just to, for argument's sake, PayPal does, at least at one point, will not allow itself to be used to buy alcohol.
You know, but I still don't.
Okay, so here's part of the question: is that before they started having the PayPal credit card? Like, if I have a PayPal Visa,
right,
mm-hmm.
and I go to buy a 6-pack of beer, is that going to be declined?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if that's underwritten by PayPal or by Visa, and then it should.
It wouldn't be by either. So a Visa card has to be from a bank. So okay. I'm not sure. And I know PayPal. I'm not sure if PayPal qualifies as a bank, in which case they can issue their own, or if they're working with somebody else.
But like I said, I do know in particular, PayPal, Square, they both were not allowing any transactions for anything having to do with guns. All right. And it didn't matter whether it was a holster or a clip or a bag to put it in. If it had anything relating to weapon anywhere within the product description or the product category or anything like that, no, you were out. And they would ban your account if they saw you trying to work around the system. So, but again, the question is why? Why the issue? And because behind the scenes, they're still using the same credit card processors as everybody else. They're still using MasterCard, Visa, Discover, etc. Right? They're still utilizing those services the same as we are, just on a larger scale. So I want to know, why do we have certain categories blacklisted? All right, because certain people say these are bad things, and we have other ones that aren't. That there is really no difference for.
I think so. The marijuana thing, pot shops and bank accounts. That one I kind of understand, only because it's still a federal crime, and a bank account has to be federally insured.
Right. FDIC.
Right? So I kind of get that, but the rest of this, as far as them not processing payments, that's a lot of virtue signaling happening here. Right?
PayPal's always done this, so it's less of a thing for PayPal. When Visa itself starts blocking stuff, that becomes a bigger question of what's happening. Now, to answer the whole thing, though, of why, and here's the thing, you get people who are like, this is violating the First Amendment. I said, no. This is happening because of the First Amendment. The First Amendment gives Visa the right to not support that.
Well, I mean, I would never say it violates a right anyway, because it's not the government in this case doing it. But in this case, yes, they have a choice to decide how they want to run their business. All right, they do have that choice, because businesses can choose how to operate. But I still have a problem with it personally, of how they get to choose which sins are appropriate to perform transactions for, and which ones aren't. Right? It's no different than when I call out Catholics and Christians and say, okay, why is your 7 divorces just hunky dory? All right, but this other thing that you did is not.
Yeah.
That it's that whole thing of hypocrisy. more than anything else, I guess, is that. And that's why I just wanted to bring this up, because, I mean, we are undoing people's livelihoods for something that doesn't seem fair to me. So, for example, like I said, de Blasio pushing for the decriminalization of sex work. Well, if the people can't get paid for it or secure the money that they make for it, it's not going to do anyone any good. All right. In the case of Pornhub, it meant the removal of over 20 million videos, and in some cases, the livelihood of a lot of women and some couples during a pandemic where they had no other income coming in. All right. OnlyFans has now been affected as well, where they've added more restrictions, pulled down millions of videos because of threats from their payment processors. Entire accounts have been stripped of every video on their site because they're changing their terms of service and saying suddenly now this type of video isn't allowed anymore because our payment processors said they don't like it. And so people who were making thousands of dollars a week are suddenly reduced to nothing, because a payment processor decided to change. That's where I think it's having real effects on real people for no fault of their own, but for the whims of a company that they have no say-so and no power to say, hey, listen, you're hurting me. You're hurting how I can support my family.
There was a the workaround that one of the vape companies that is located overseas had for not being able to use PayPal or something. Well, first of all, they would take Bitcoin, which look, I'm not going through all of that bullshit.
No,
they said what we can do is you can buy a gift card from us because PayPal and the processors are still allowing gift cards because this particular site sells a lot more than just vape products. Okay. Fast tech.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They sell all kinds of stuff. You buy a gift card and then you can use that gift card to purchase your restricted products.
Yeah.
Well, what the hell am I going to do that for? That's just a pain in the ass. Is what it is, because now I'm going to wind up with 14 cents on this one and 13 cents on that one, and eventually you're just making out in the end.
Yeah.
So there's a problem there.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's got to be some other kind of workaround here. Now, do these sex workers then basically create an LLC where they wind up receiving a 1099 for unspecified contract work?
I'm telling you, maybe we should bring back Shaggy's Hotel.
You rent the room, and the room happens to come with. Yep. Okay.
See,
here we
never has a hotel turned away a credit card.
We are not allowed to sell bottled water. However, if you come over and buy this piece of paper for $1, it comes with a free bottle of water.
That's right.
There's a website that is not sex related at all, but that both Shaggy and I needed to sign up for. And the way we did that was we bought them an Amazon gift card.
Yeah. That did work.
Okay, that's basically the plot line to Easy A.
So,
she pretended to have sex with everybody for gift cards.
Yes, I think Shaggy's Hotel, where every room comes with a free massage, would work.
Possibly. I'm sure they're going to find ways around it. And possibly the city becomes a central bank, God forbid, because New York is phenomenal with their finances.
Every municipality is great with their finances, Mike. I don't think there's a single one that's running in the black.
So, to answer
Governor
that question
Murphy,
for a while back, Synchrony Bank. That's who the PayPal MasterCard's running from.
Okay.
Yes. Now it wasn't because PayPal credit used to be just through them, but once Synchrony actually, because now when I make my PayPal credit payments, I noticed that a couple months ago. It takes me to Synchrony's website to make the payment. I'm like, dude, no, why? Seems like Synchrony has a lot of my credit card accounts, and I don't like
they
it.
do. They also do Sweetwater and Sleep Number and Care Credit and you name
Care
it.
Credit.
You know, yeah, they're a big one. All right, so we're just about ready to kick off our double feature movie review, but before we do, since that topic does talk about streaming, we should talk about a big change that's happened to streaming within the last couple weeks, and that is a major addition to the Roku channel. For those of you that have a Roku device, you probably know about this channel, and for those of you who don't have a Roku device, you can actually add the Roku channel to Apple TV, to a lot of the Chromecast, to a lot of the other platforms out there. They're just an independent channel that you can add, and they have added, one of probably the most time suck, shows of all time. And if you grew up with a dad in the home like I did, then you probably had this show on every Sunday. And that is This Old House. They have somehow procured the entire catalog for This Old House. 1,500 plus episodes is now available on the Roku channel. And all I have to say is if they could just please get like New Yankee Workshop added to that, then that could be like the home of, that could be the PBS DIY network is what that could be. They could really have everything together for you. Because if you don't fall asleep to the dulcet tones of Norb Abram, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Do you know Mike Holmes has a new show?
Mike Holmes has everything. He's about as whorish as Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Mike Holmes has a new show on Fox now. Holmes Family.
No, I don't know that one.
I can't even stand to watch it. Like, I'm so sick of Mike Holmes. And ever since, what is it, America's Best Handyman or whatever that bullshit reality show that him and what's his face, Ty Pennington did together. I'm like, yep, nope.
Ty
I'm
Pennington
so tired of you, Mike.
listen
to me, Mike Holmes.
Ty Pennington had a show on called Tiebreaker, which was kind of interesting.
No, it wasn't Ty Pennington. Who was the guy? No, was Ty Pennington from Move That House? What was it?
Extreme Makeover. Move That Bus.
Okay, yeah. Okay, it was him. I'm so sick of Mike Holmes with his spray foam everything. That son of a bitch couldn't go when the oil well was leaking. He couldn't just go down there with his spray foam and fix that shit. Nope, didn't have time for that. He was too busy spray foaming somebody's house that they hired a contractor that told him it was only going to take $500 to insulate the entire house, and then panicked when the guy didn't come back after he ripped all the drywall down, did the demo, and never came back. Dude, it's a $15,000 job, and he told you $500. Did you really think? What? Oh, you want nails? Okay, don't worry, we'll buy that box.
Yeah,
you got $500 worth of demo out. That's what you got.
Yeah,
I got all of these shows. I'm so disgusted. Flip or flop, or no, love it or list it. I sell stuff on eBay that I find in the trash, and my husband does a vlog about lattes. Our reno budget is $1 million.
That's about like the RV show that I watch. I'm a vlogger. My husband, he does. He's a motivational speaker. Our budget is $500,000 for an RV. We want 3 slide outs, 2 bathrooms, and a dedicated bunkhouse, and lots of storage. It's just like, it just. How many vloggers does this world need? Everybody's a friggin' vlogger.
Although you can get one for like that for about $40,000. So that's not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My example went off the rails. I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, but no, yeah, I love it or list it. Yeah, we need a third floor on our house. Our budget is $5,000. And we live in a ranch. We don't even have a second floor. We want a third.
We want a basement in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That poor contractor guy. When listen, we have to make this work. Okay, they've decided that they need the elevator because grandma is going to come live with them and she can't do stairs. So you only have $500. We have to make this work. And the contractor, when she leaves, is just like.
Yeah.
So, have you seen the new version of
Trading Spaces?
Joanna and Joanna and the one in Waco.
Oh, Fixer Upper.
Yeah, Fixer Upper.
No, because I don't have this.
You don't have Discovery Plus?
Streaming for them. No, I bought Disney Plus finally. Leave me alone.
Yeah, they've severely fixed that show when they came back. They're like, okay, we're not going to bother with the real estate agents, and we're going to look at 3 different houses. They've already bought a house, and this is their budget, and we're going to go in and renovate it, and that's it. There's no stupid formulas, no stupid tricks. They're just, one of them was a employee of the company, and they didn't even lie over. He was an employee of the company, and he wanted his house renovated, and he promised to stay out of that folder on the server so he wouldn't see what the design was in advance. I was like, this is okay. This show is back. This show is on its this is good now. This is get rid of all the fake crap.
I don't know. I haven't watched it. I have Discovery Plus. I used it to watch Trauma Life in the ER.
Good Eats? Are you watching New Good Eats?
I haven't watched the new Good Eats. I watched some of the old ones.
Okay. So my husband's a barista, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. And we need 4 bedrooms, 4 baths because we have 4 kids, and our budget is $30,000.
And
I can work with that.
Or, yeah. No.
Tables and shenanigans. I have a $2 million budget.
Oh God, yeah. All right.
Got 13 pieces of flair right here, man.
All right, I think it's time to start our double feature movie review. Every show we take 2 movies suggested by the internets, by the streaming services, by YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime, things that are recommended.
Or by this time, Mike the Ape Man.
And usually it's a random number selector, but this time, because of the way that things happen to work out, given previous hijinks, Mike decided that he would take it upon himself to pick these 2 movies for us. And so we have the wonders of Best of Times, starring Kurt Russell and Robin Williams, and Waiting, starring those people that I don't remember. Dane Cook's in it for a hot second. Ryan Reynolds is in it, and it's Justin Long. Yeah, those are the important people. That's all you really need to know. All right, so what one do you want to cover first?
We'll go alphabetical order. Let's go Best of Times. Let's do that one first.
Best of Times.
All right, Best of Times, and we will start off with Colin going first. Colin, you're up.
Okay, Best of Times. Robin Williams, Kurt Russell, and other people. Yeah. So, you ever know anybody who's just really stuck on their high school sports career? Maybe, and so this is basically a movie about those people. Ryan Williams Ryan Williams is funny. Okay, so he makes this movie funny just by being there, but he's horribly miscast as a high school football player who, can't get on with his life because all he can think about is this ball that he failed to catch in a football game. Because you look at Ron Williams and you're like, football player is not the sport I would expect Ron Williams to be playing. Kurt Russell as a quarterback, okay, that's believable at least. In fact, I think he even, if I remember correctly, even dressed as a football player back when he was doing Disney movies. If I remember correctly. Anyway, I would say this movie is too long. It kind of starts getting satisfying there at the end. There's a couple little plot pieces with a mascot costume that I actually thought was actually pretty good writing at that point. There's some actual plotting there that I thought, that's actually pretty intricate. That's good. I like that. But getting there, it felt like a sitcom. It felt like we were watching a sitcom, and we were sitting there watching the entire season of the sitcom in one sitting. And most of the episodes didn't really have anything happening in them. So you're just watching it going, okay, I don't know why that episode existed. We could have skipped that episode, and the plot would have been fine. Being said, this is not a movie I ever plan to watch again. And actually, I'm going to... Whatever one step is below meh is actually where I'm going to stick this. I'm not exactly sure what we put that. Is that cough or whatever it is?
Yeah. Cough.
Yeah. Cough. I'm going to put this at cough. It's just, there are parts of it. I'll put it this way. Okay. I really liked how it opened, and I liked how it ended. And I think too much of the middle of it broke the movie for me. That's why I'm not even give it a map, because I may be a little bit disappointed in it.
All right. I'll go next and then let Mike clean up. All right. Best of times. I watched this one today when at 2 o'clock I remembered, I haven't watched this yet. So probably the freshest in my mind, unfortunately. This Robin Williams catalog of work. All right. Lots of shining examples. Great performances. Comedic genius. All right. Does some amazing dramatic work as well. All right. There are plenty of examples of Robin Williams being a tremendous actor. This is not one of those. All right. This is a fail. Kurt Russell, good actor. I didn't care for him much in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, but in general, loved him in Overboard. But in this one, he's playing Kurt Russell. He's playing the part he always plays. And honestly, he's playing it better. He's playing better than Robin Williams is, and nobody should ever outshine Robin Williams. All right? What really makes me upset is that in looking at other lists, they rank the best of times more comedy-filled and a better performance for Robin Williams than Toys, Hook, or Patch Adams. Some people need their head examined. All right? Those three are all much better performances than this piece of trash. All right? Colin already laid out the storyline. All right? Fumble, doesn't make it when he's in high school, then ruins the rest of his life regretting what he didn't do. All right? Then, all of a sudden, gets the idea, let's play the game again, and let me try and fix it. Everybody knew he trashed the hall. Everybody knew. It's the story is as transparent as glass. All right? You know what's going to happen the whole time. There's nothing inventive about this. And I will say it's not even that funny most of the time. All right? You're trying to laugh at this character who's totally inept, but he's just sad. So this one, for me, I'm not going to give it a puke just because I can't. But I'm going to give it a verb because that's about as low as I can grade anything for Robin Williams. It's just don't waste your time. Here's the general rule with a Robin Williams movie. If you haven't heard of it, don't watch it. All right? It's easy. That's the way it goes. All right. Mike, you're up.
Sometimes I don't like you guys. So this movie always struck me as a fun movie. I remember watching this movie many times because there were two amazing celebrities in the lead, Robin Williams and Kurt Russell. This was right around the time that Robin Williams was in The World According to Garp, another movie I hold near and dear, and a movie with Walter Matthau called The Survivors, I believe. I also remember seeing this movie later in life on HBO during a time where I was trying to figure out my path in this world and reminiscing about a past athletic event similar to Jack, feeling very much like Reno, but I could have gone further had. And there's the bright spot in this movie that neither of you touched on. This is the big screen debut of Kirk Cameron as Reno Hightower's son. No, it's not really a bright spot, but it's worth noting. We also had Tracy Gold make an appearance, and the chick who played the love interest in the third Karate Kid, Robin Lively. And there's the amazing manipulation by Jack's character to sway the town via sabotage. And the aerobics leg warmer scene. But the main thing about this movie is, of course, the football game. It's somewhat disheartening, as I truly do not know if this would ever actually happen in real life. Half of these guys that they depict might actually break a hip if they tried to play football. Not to mention that Robin Williams actually playing football does not seem plausible in any universe unless he was possibly the kicker, which I guess makes it even better as far as the movie is concerned. There's not a whole lot of realism to this movie, but this is one of those fun flicks from the 80s that showcases quite a few celebrities in their younger days, as well as some in their older ones, such as M. Emmett Walsh. It's not quite dirty enough to say, don't watch this with the family, but it's got enough foul language and situations that might pique the interest of some of the younger crowds. This is basically a grown-up version of Little Giants when you think about it, because you have the Taft football team, which everyone except the quarterback is out of shape, and the one receiver, which I guess could be Icebox. So you have two people on the entire team that are in shape versus a team of well-conditioned, well-funded, well-dressed actual athletes. So yes, it is an 80s version of it's an 80s adult version of Little Giants. Therefore, it's getting an ear-to-ear grin from me, you bastards, for nostalgia and for some classic Robin Williams comedy. I will agree, there were parts in the middle that I could have done without. Example, the entire dinner scene where they're trying to watch the football game without letting the wives know. Yeah, you could get rid of all of that.
Mike,
get rid of the whole caribou bullshit.
Did you say one of your favorite other movies was Survivors?
The Survivors, I think that's what it was called.
Yeah, that was a movie. Yeah, it's ranked the 4th worst Robin Williams movie of all time.
I don't care.
I'm just saying.
I never claimed to have good taste in movies.
And you also said you couldn't imagine Robin Williams actually playing football, although he was on his JV football team sophomore year for Detroit County Day School in Birmingham, Michigan.
Okay, JV. That's like
I know. I'm just saying.
Second team, man.
He actually did play.
Yeah,
he played more than I did.
No, Mike. Actually, that scene you just mentioned, the one where they're dating their wives and trying. that is exactly the scene that moved it off of meh and moved it down. Not because the scene shouldn't have been there. It's like that was an example of something that could have been funny. It could have had some slapstick going on, but it just didn't. I don't know. Like I said, I think my biggest problem with the movie is there's lots of stuff in that movie I really liked, and so the reason I didn't like it is because they didn't pull it together.
Okay, so now moving on. This is going to be a good one. The 2005 movie Waiting, starring Ryan Reynolds, Anna Faris, Justin Long, David Koechner.
What's up, Juice? Glad you made it.
Louis Guzman, and others. All right, we will start
Caitlin
off.
Doubleday.
Yes. So we will start off with. Start off with Colin.
Yes. Waiting. So I looked up after watching this movie. I was reading up on it. So this is a movie that was written by a guy who was working in a restaurant like this, and so he wrote the screenplay, kind of saying what it was kind of like to work. It's a restaurant called Shenanigans, which is, I guess, supposed to be a little bit of Fridays and some other stuff. Anyway, it's that kind of restaurant, and you have a main character who is barely in college, if in college at all, and looking at his life and going, he has people who are in the same class as he started with, and they're now successful. He isn't. But that barely has anything to do with this movie. This movie is called Waiting. And watching this movie, the Waiting title is very apt because you spend the entire movie waiting for a movie to begin. Instead, it's just, I think it well encompasses what it feels like to be stuck at a dead-end job in a restaurant and not having any real life for yourself, because that's the feeling you get having to watch this movie. The most I'll say about it is that this movie actually has, yes, it has Ryan Reynolds, it has Anna Faris, it has Justin Long, there's a lot of people in it, okay? But the only character in the entire movie I liked is played by one of my favorite little-known actors, and that's Chi McBride. Chi McBride has been in the little things here and there. My favorite thing he was in 2 seasons that existed of Human Target. He played the partner of the main character. I really like Chi McBride. And in this movie, he plays this guy who, he kind of sits. I wasn't exactly sure what part of the restaurant he was sitting in, because sometimes there was complete done food there, and sometimes it was empty plates. So I wasn't sure if it was the place where you wash the dishes. I don't know what he was doing, but he sits back there and he kind of gives counseling to the other characters. As usual, everything he did was great. Otherwise, this movie did absolutely nothing for me, and I am going to give it a verb.
All right. I'll go next. So I had seen this movie before, but it had been a while. And this is a movie up my alley. All right. This is that bro comedy kind of movie that is just, it's my wheelhouse, man. It's the kind that I like. If there had been more boobs in it, this would have been 100% my jam. Mike, next time just pick one with a little bit more nudity. Okay. I mean, there is, I guess they could make an unrated cut, which would have full frontal male nudity. Not quite my jam, but whatever. So yes, it's about Shenanigans, the restaurant, which is like a Bennigan's, a TGI Fridays, whatever it is. But it gives a look into the world of sit down restaurant life. Now, I only have the experience of McDonald's life, but I can see enough similarities in here to say, yeah, fairly accurate portrayal of everything that happens. Now, the additives to the plate that got sent back to the kitchen. I don't know exactly how accurate that is. The shredded the Parmesan cheese, all that, the extra gravy. I don't know how accurate that really is. I could see that happening, though. We've watched enough cooking shows to say definitely could occur. And I like this movie. It's a funny movie. It gets a lot of things quickly moving. About the only thing that I would say they could take away from this movie that, might get rid of 1 or 2 minutes here or there is the druggy bus boys. All right? They're ancillary characters that we really don't have to have. Although it's a nice little aside, I don't know that they're essential to the rest of the story, right? We don't have to have them. We could do something else there. Or if they're going to include them, they could have gone a step further with them, really. Having them, grab the camera and go into the bathroom, that was a nice piece. Maybe you could have done a little bit more with them. But that's really, I'm nitpicking now, right? So I'm trying to find problems with the movie because overall it was really good. Now, this was not one that I could watch with my wife because she would not appreciate the comedy whatsoever. So this was very much a me movie. So yes, I enjoyed it very much. I forgot the way that the ending worked, so that was a nice little reminder for me. And, what's interesting is this is Justin Long early in his career. So this is pre-accepted, and before we really kind of got burned out on him. So it was nice to see him kind of in an early show. So, no, I'm going to give this a smile because, like I said, I really liked the movie. I thought it was good. And Mike probably thought that both Colin and I were going to, crap all over this, and not to be the case. We're not going to ruin his day twice, probably just once. All right, Mike.
Before Mike takes over, I just realized something.
Yeah.
Just thinking back to watching the movie, that movie very easily could have moved all the way back up to at least meh if it wasn't for the druggy bus boys. Anytime I thought I might be getting into the movie, the druggy bus boys threw me back out again.
I think Mike's going to have a conniption, which will be good to watch. So here he is.
Did either of you watch through the credits?
I watched a lot. I don't know that maybe I missed something.
Did either of you see Nick and T-Dog's music video during the credits?
No, I did not. I will say I missed
I saw a music video, but
I missed that.
I guess I didn't pay attention enough to it.
That was the best part of the goddamn movie. If you had watched that, this would have instantly brought it because they actually rapped. They had this whole gimmick about how they were going to be gangster rappers, which was stupid because they're both white with cornrows and neither one of them seems to have any talent. Yes, they were druggy, but they ended with a rap video. And that video is enough to boost it up. My gods. When you guys said you could do without either one of them, I said neither one of them watched the credit scene. I know it. Colin, it might not have helped your rating, to be quite honest with you, but it would have made the characters more relevant. Because it also ties into the sequel, Still Waiting. Yes, they made a sequel to this movie. Shaggy, this would have easily brought you up another rating.
Okay.
Okay? So, that being said, there's also, and I can't remember the actual actor's name, but the greatest performance for me, now Chief McBride, yes, he was also, a lot of people probably know him as Donnie from Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's Chief McBride. He was also the chief in iRobot. Probably not as popular there, but okay. The most popular the best actor in this entire movie was the guy that went on to play Sweets in Bones. Because he managed to keep his cool the entire movie and just very calm, cool, collected, and blew up at the exact perfect time in this movie and did so in such epic fashion. You cannot help but respect him. I have never worked in a restaurant setting, and I'm quite glad that I didn't. Watching this movie was enough to make me realize I don't think I could. Though the interaction with the staff, a lot of it is very similar to working retail at a warehouse club, because there was the same interaction with the staff, similar kind of camaraderie, if you will. This is one of those movies that if you try to watch it on network TV, this movie would be about 30 minutes long with commercials, because a lot of this stuff just would not translate, and this movie would suck on network TV. There's a lot of crude humor. As Shaggy said, it's very much a bro comedy, and I think this may have been Dustin Long's first big role after Galaxy Quest. So this was, I don't want to say this was his breakout role, but you're right. This was before he was in anything and everything and selling anything and everything, including Huawei phones, which I don't even think are legal in the U.S. anymore.
He was in Dodgeball before this, a year before this.
Oh, he was?
Yes. And
Herbie
Fully Loaded. Those were
we
the
don't
two
count that.
Okay.
His role was reduced digitally the same time they reduced Lindsay Lohan's boobs in that one. So I give this one a belly laugh. This is one of those movies that if I'm having a bad day, I can put on the TV and it will cheer me up. I can skip right to the closing credits and suddenly my mood will be good. So, Shaggy, if you have not seen that video, you must go find it. It's out on YouTube as well.
I will. You know what else your favorite guy was in? Your John Francis Daly was in. He was also in another movie that we've watched, Rapture Palooza. Don't know if you remember that, but we watched that.
That was with Craig Davidson and Craig Robinson and Anna Kendrick, right?
Yes.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yep. And then
he was Kendrick too.
And also of note, he was a writer on Spider-Man: Homecoming. So he's had a pretty good career. And interestingly enough, he's a hometown boy, Colin. He's from Wheeling, Illinois.
So I will grant you, Mike, that this is to you it is as noises off as to me.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. But see, this, folks, if nothing else, okay, this is the takeaway from tonight. Here are two guys that have such differing opinions about movies and different tastes, but yet we are friends.
Mm-hmm.
You can have differing opinions and still get along.
That's right. Someone can like the cobbler, and you can still talk to them. You'll have to go through the archives to find that one. All right, Mike, time to pick the movies for the next show. What do we got?
We're back to the random number generator, and we are 1 to 35.
1 to 35. 19.
What in the hell?
I don't know, because I'm not looking, because I don't want to be accused of picking a number.
Hold on. No. Moose the movie?
Moose the movie?
On Amazon Prime.
The description here says oddball horror about a moose man.
Okay.
Oh my God, this appears like it's going to be along the lines of
Okay.
Bubba the Redneck
The
Werewolf.
budget was $100,000.
This is our kind of movie right here.
I hope it's as good as Bubba the Redneck Werewolf, because that was great.
Or it's going to be similar to Velocipaster with special effects. I can guarantee it. Oh, God.
Oh, speaking of which, so I had to demo an application for work today, which was a document translator. It translated documents into foreign languages. And so I just had to pick anything on my hard drive at random to translate. So I translated my movie review of Alligator X into Spanish. And I got people were commenting that they said, I don't even know Spanish, but I can figure out that the CGI in that movie was horrible.
Oh my God!
So
you were gonna
this movie at least fulfills your requirements for IMDb trivia.
It has
more than two.
It has 3 trailers, Mike. Is a teaser trailer, an official trailer, a bonus trailer.
7.
No,
it has 7 different trivias on IMDb.
Okay.
All right.
Juice is saying that this is rigged. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
26.
Spy Intervention.
Oh, this has been showing up on my list for a long time.
Who the hell? Poppy Delevingne? Wait, who the hell is this?
So we may have to go to Tubi now to see this. I don't know if it's still available.
No, it's still on Prime.
Okay. So this is when the world's greatest spy meets the woman of his dreams, he abandons his adventurous existence and settles into the security of suburbia.
Oh, crap. Are you kidding me? This guy's in this?
Drew Van Acker.
No. Blake Anderson, one third of the team that brought us that's in every ball showing movie.
Well, don't worry,
man.
It can't be too bad because his name in this movie is Smuts. So obviously he's classy. So that's our movies for the next show, which will be, according to the calendar, it will be on the 13th. That's right. We're doing another Tuesday next time around. So it'll be on the 13th. Oh, and with that said, pretty much that rounds out this episode of PTR Radio. And let's see here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to check out our website, ptrradio.com, as well as everywhere on social media you can think of to find us: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We also got the YouTubes going on. Just look for PTR Radio on any of those. Our podcast has also been updated. It's fully up to date now, and we'll try to get tonight's show up there by tomorrow. So if you miss an episode live, you can either catch it on YouTube or Facebook, or you can just subscribe to the podcast. That's really the easiest way. That way you can listen to it on the go, commercial free, if you will. It's free for you, and it's fairly cheap for us. And we really appreciate it if you would go and tell all your friends about this wonderfulness that you get to tune into, for nothing, right? We don't charge nothing. We don't take attendance at the beginning. You can sit in whatever chair you want. It's a really open class here. We like to have a community feel. So, just bring your friends. That's all we ask. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring your cellmate if you're listening to us in jail, I guess. If you got a guard that'll, smuggle you in an MP3 player that happens to be filled with our recordings, that's fine too. If you want to call, leave us a message, 217-787-03 or 0232. We appreciate everybody that does chime in during the show. As you see, you get your 15 seconds of free screen time. So with that said, COVID's still going on. We're not going anywhere. You won't be seeing us out and about. At least not anytime soon. But maybe that'll change. Everybody stay safe and keep your head on straight. Until then, I'm Shaggy.
I'm Colin.
I am Mike the Ape Man.
Stick a fork in us, folks. We are done. Later.